Hi YouTube! Today I am presenting to you one of the more uncommon games in my collection, which is actually a compilation of 7 games from the Metal Slug series, Metal Slug Anthology for the PS2. Just like the logo here says, this compilation was released to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the Metal Slug series. The game starts with a nice intro, presenting us with the characters from each of the games. The menu shows us the 7 games from the series: Metal Slug 1, Metal Slug 2, Metal Slug X, Metal Slug 3, Metal Slug 4, Metal Slug 5, and Metal Slug 6. There's also options and gallery. Metal Slug is a 1996 run-and-gun video game developed by Nazca Corporation and originally released by SNK for the Neo Geo MVS arcade system. Set in 2028, the game follows Peregrine Falcon Strike Force soldiers Marco Rossi and Tarma Rovin as they seek to overthrow a coup d'etat by the rebel army, led by Donald Morden. Metal Slug is a run-and-gun game reminiscent of Contra, where players assume the role of Captain Marco Rossi and Lieutenant Tarma Rovin of the Peregrine Falcon Strike Force, shooting constantly at a continual stream of enemies in order to complete each mission. At this point, players confront a boss, who is usually considerably larger and tougher than regular enemies. On the way through each level, players can find numerous weapon upgrades and the eponymous tanks.
Metal Slug 2.
Metal Slug 2 was originally released in 1998 for the Neo Geo MVS arcade platform, as the sequel to Metal Slug. The game added several new features to the gameplay of the original Metal Slug, such as new weapons, vehicles, and the ability to transform the character. Gameplay in Metal Slug 2 is similar to the previous game. The player must shoot constantly at a continual stream of enemies in order to reach the end of each level. At this point, the player confronts a boss who is usually considerably larger and tougher than regular enemies. On the way through each level, the player can find numerous weapon upgrades in Metal Slug tanks. The tank is known as the SV-001. SV stands for Super Vehicle.
Mission complete.
Metal Slug 3 was originally released in 2000 for the Neo Geo MVS arcade platform as a sequel to Metal Slug 2. The music of the game was developed by Noise Factory. The game adds several features to the gameplay of the original Metal Slug and Metal Slug 2, such as weapons and vehicles, as well as introducing branching paths into the series. It received generally positive reviews. The gameplay mechanics are the same as in previous Metal Slug games. The player must shoot constantly at a continual stream of enemies in order to reach the end of each level. At this point, the player confronts a boss, who is usually considerably larger and tougher than regular enemies. On the way through each level, the player can find numerous weapon upgrades in Metal Slug tanks. Metal Slug 4 was released in 2002 for the Neo Geo MVS arcade platform, and is the 4th game in the Metal Slug series. 2 years later, Playmore published Metal Slug 4 for consoles. Metal Slug 4 retains the same gameplay as previous titles, with the addition of some enemies, bosses, weapons, several vehicles, and a bonus combo system. A bonus scoring system was added that allows the player to be rewarded depending on how many enemies are killed in the time allotted. The time allotted is determined from the type of emblem that is picked up. A time meter will appear on the top of the screen, and if the player lives through the end of the level, they will be awarded bonus points for badges that represent feats accomplished. Eri and Tarma were replaced with Nadia and Trevor. Metal Slug 5 was released in 2003 for the MVS arcade platform, and is the 5th game in the Metal Slug series. The game was developed by Noise Factory SNK Playmore, after Korean company Mega Enterprises had directed Metal Slug 4. It was the last Metal Slug released on the Neo Geo. The game features various vehicles for players to control, including the Slug Mariner submarine, the Slug Flyer aircraft, and the newly introduced Slug Gunner robot. Metal Slug 5 introduces gameplay mechanics such as dual-wielding weapons and the ability to slide while shooting. The game supports 2-player cooperative play and allows players to replay completed missions. Metal Slug 6 features 2 modes of play the player can choose from right at the beginning: easy and hard. Easy mode lowers the difficulty of the game and changes the player's default weapon to the heavy machine gun, but the game ends just before the final mission. It was the final installment in the Metal Slug series on an arcade platform and was released in February of 24th, 2006. As with previous installments, Metal Slug 6 adds a number of new slugs, as well as a new weapon, the Zantetsu sword, which allows the player's melee weapon to emit lethal energy waves that can neutralize enemy firepower. Each character now has unique abilities. Marco's basic gun does more damage. Eri can throw bombs in multiple directions. Ralph can perform the Vulcan Punch and take 2 hits himself before dying, and so on. Metal Slug 6 introduces a new play mechanic dubbed the Weapon Stock System. 2 gun power-ups can now be carried at the same time. Players can switch between the 2 weapons, or simply put them both away in favor of the default weapon. When obtaining a new weapon power-up, it will automatically occupy the inactive slot, or, if both are holstered, replace the less recent weapon of the 2. Metal Slug X was released in 1999 for the MVS arcade platform, and is a remixed, upgraded, spin-off version of Metal Slug 2 that utilizes the game engine from Metal Slug 3. It is the pseudo-third title in the series. Much of the music has been slightly remixed, altered. It is made to sound more clean, sweeping, and/or epic. Many stages have the time of day changed. Instead of being simply at day or at night, the stages take place at dusk, twilight, and sunset. It is now possible for your character to become chunky in every stage after Mission 2. While it was only possible in Mission 4 previously, there is less slowdown than in Metal Slug 2. All levels contain increased and different enemies, as well as a different boss in the first mission. Vehicle types and locations are usually changed. There are generally more power-ups, prisoners, and items, particularly food, which are often hidden and must be shot to obtain. After beating each game once, you unlock the gallery. There is concept art from all the games, all the music in each game, and a written interview with the creators at the end. I'll leave you to enjoy the concept art, music, and interview for the rest of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.